everybody, welcome back. I hope if you were celebrating that you had a really nice Christmas. I have another one of my sort of yearly roundup videos today, and I'm going to combine two videos in one for today's video. So I'm going to do my final check-in for both my 52 pieces of makeup that I wanted to finish off by the end of this year, and also my list of some other beauty items that weren't makeup that I also wanted to finish off by the end of this year. So if we start off with the list of the makeup items that I wanted to finish off by the end of the year, basically what I did is that I got out all of my makeup from behind me on my dressing table, got it all out, went through every single piece, and I basically just decided if it was something that I am fine just using as and when, and I don't have any sort of like pressure on wanting to finish up, or if it's an item that I thought, yeah, I like this, but I would rather, you know, get it used up and get it out of my collection so I can try something new. And I also thought as well, what can I realistically finish off by the end of 2024? So I did that for absolutely everything in my makeup collection, and I came up with a list of 52 pieces of makeup. And I'm pretty sure I did this at the beginning of the year because it worked out to be me finishing off one piece of makeup per week. I didn't intentionally choose 52 pieces, it's just that the maths worked out really nicely. So 52 pieces of makeup in total, like I say, that is finishing off one on average per week. I've got the list on my phone, by the way, or about 4 to 5 pieces per month. And as I finished off pieces of makeup, as I decluttered makeup, I referred back to this list and ticked them off and kept the numbers up to date, so I knew how many I had finished off, how many I had decluttered, and how many were left. So let's go through this list and let's see what I've used up, what I've decluttered, and what makeup pieces I haven't quite achieved that goal with. So starting off with base makeup, I had 3 primers that I wanted to finish off by the end of this year, and I finished off all 3 of them. One was a Bobbi Brown face base, the other was a Revolution dupe of that, and then the other was the Merit Instant Glow Serum Primer, something along those lines. And I finished off all 3. I think I basically used them all as skincare. I think if I was going to use them as actual primers as part of my makeup routine, I think it would have taken me a lot longer to finish them all up because I don't often wear primer. So I use them all as skincare items. I use the Merit one as my hydrating serum both morning and evening, and then the Revolution and the Bobbi Brown, I use them as my morning and evening moisturisers. So I did actually manage to use those up fairly quickly. Next were foundations, and looking at this list, I put down 5 foundations that I wanted to finish up this year. That was possibly quite a tall order. I didn't quite manage to do it. So I did manage to use up the Arborian CC cream, which I finished off right at the start of the year in like January or February, I do believe. I also finished off the L'Oreal tinted serum. I also finished off as well the Power Fabric, what was that? Giorgio Armani Power Fabric Foundation. Now that was just in a little sample size, it wasn't a full size foundation, but I still managed to finish that one off. So that leaves me with 2. I decluttered the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation because that one was a number of months out of date. I can't quite recall how many months out of date, but also the shade match was way off for me. It was too dark, it was too orange, and it was a big culprit behind why I really didn't like my makeup for quite a good chunk of this year actually. So I decluttered that one. Sadly, I do still have one foundation that I did not manage to finish off by the end of this year. It is my NARS Sheer Glow foundation, which is part of my project pan, and it's going to stay in my project pan next year as well, and I'm hoping to finish this off before this goes bad. This is about 6 months out of date, so I am keeping a very close eye on it. As soon as it turns, as soon as it starts to smell bad or causes a reaction on my face, I will get rid of it, but for now it's fine. So unfortunately I didn't manage to finish this one off as part of this list, as part of this little project, but there were 5 foundations that I wanted to finish off. It was quite a tall ask to be able to achieve that, but the fact is that I am working on this, and I have been working on it for a few months. I don't know how much is in here. I'm not tracking my, like, the progress on the bottle. I'm tracking my number of uses, and I cannot see into this bottle, so who knows. I like to think I have about half of it left, but I could be off. Sticking with base makeup, the next one was a concealer, and I have now finished this off. This has like clung on for dear life. I took the stopper out of it a couple of months ago and there's just been a lot of product left over. It's just been one of those products that just hasn't wanted to be used up with, but I did manage to finish it off on Christmas Day, so a little Christmas present to myself. It is the Vive Modern Radiance Concealer. It is a very nice concealer, really easy to use, quite kind of creamy, a little bit like a mousse kind of texture in a way, even though it is a liquid one. It is very nice. There are lots of concealers that I want to try though, so I will not be going back to this one anytime soon, but that doesn't mean that I disliked it. I would just like to try something new. So that one is a recent tick off the list. Sticking with concealers, this is a corrector. This is the Bobbi Brown Corrector Stick. I had the stick and the pot. I much preferred the pot, so I wanted to get the stick used up. That was very easy. I always use an under eye corrector whenever I do my makeup, so that was quite an easy one to use up. I also used up a mini Hourglass face powder, one of the ambient light, diffuse light, one of those types of powders. Didn't particularly like that though, I wouldn't repurchase. I also used up an Urban Decay setting spray. That was quite an easy thing to add to this list. I always use a setting spray as well whenever I do my makeup, so that was quite an easy one for me to get used up. I also used up a bronzer. This was the Revolution Ultra Cream Bronzer, a lovely cream bronzer, a real pleasure to use. Lovely, like the name suggests, creamy texture, great colour, not too dark, not too orange, not too muddy, a really nice colour. Easy to blend out and just, like I say, a real pleasure to use. That was arguably one of my favourite makeup products this year to use. I finished off 2 blushes. This was the year where I did quite well with blushes. I finished off 2. I finished off the Vive Sunset Blush Balm, which was a liquid blusher in the shade Pesca. Lovely, lightweight, easy to build up blusher. Again, probably one of the standout products this year. And I also finished off a Rare Beauty cream blusher, not a liquid one. I don't know how people managed to finish those off. This was a cream one. The Stay Vulnerable Melting Blushes, I think. Mine was in the shade Nearly Apricot, a lovely peachy apricot everyday shade. Again, probably another standout makeup product for me this year. I loved that. The liquid blushes by Rare Beauty get so much more attention, but I much prefer the cream one. They are lovely. I finished up 2 highlighters. Firstly, my Vive Skin Dew. I got that in the XL size, which, unless you're a makeup artist, I don't think you need the XL size, but I got given the XL size for birthday or Christmas last year. I did, in the end, manage to finish it up by mixing it in with body lotion. It is a lovely highlighter though, it's a beautiful colour, nice and easy to use, but it's just far too big. I also finished up as well my Merit highlighter. That was a stick cream highlighter. Started off the year not liking that product at all. I felt it was quite kind of greasy. But in the end I did manage to find a way to enjoy it. I would put on a cream blusher first, so one of the Vive ones or the Rare Beauty one, or a lipstick, let me get my words out, a lipstick, and then I would put the Merit highlighter on top and then blend them both out together. So my blusher would end up being a bit of an iridescent blusher rather than just having blusher and then some highlighter on top. I wouldn't buy that one again though because I didn't love it. I did like it in the end, but I would like to try others. I finished off an e.l.f. contour as well. Wouldn't really go back to using any contours. I find them a little bit superfluous in my routine, to be totally honest, but I know some people love them. I finished off my favourite face palette I've ever used. It's the Vive Dawn Dimension Face Palette. It has a bronzer, 2 blushes and a highlighter. Beautiful colours, beautiful formulation, lovely to work with. I always say this, but Vive do some excellent powders and that face palette was gorgeous. I loved that. Now we're getting into some decluttered products because we're into the eye categories now. This year has really been for me about streamlining my makeup collection, figuring out what I like to wear and what I don't like to wear, and what I don't like to wear is much eye makeup at all. So today, for example, I've just swept on a bit of bronzer and blusher when I've put it on my cheeks, and I've got mascara on. That's it. Basically, I do have a couple of eyeshadows, but I don't like to wear much in terms of eye makeup. I'm much more of a lip person. So we do have some decluttered products. Firstly, my MAC Paint Pot in Painterly, I decluttered that. That was several years out of date. It had dried up a little bit and it wasn't working particularly well as an eyeshadow primer. I also decluttered a couple of eyeshadows as well. So again, MAC, Woodwinked and Patina. Beautiful shades. Patina was like a bronzy olive green, bit of gold in there. Really, really interesting shade, a beautiful shade, but it is a little bit too muddy on me. Woodwinked is a really beautiful copper brown, but that's a bit too dark on me. And this is my problem with eyeshadows and eye makeup. I find that even if I go even like medium or mid-toned, it just ends up looking too dark on me. So I really do need to stick to like the light end of the spectrum. So those two shades were too dark, so I have decluttered those. I did also say that I wanted to finish up by the end of this year another MAC eyeshadow in All That Glitters. I've decided to keep this one though. It's a very, very pretty colour. It's like a rose gold peach shade, and this works really well over the top of my Giorgio Armani eye tint, so I like to layer those two together. Now this is several years out of date, doesn't matter, it's absolutely fine in terms of its performance, there's no reactions at all, so I'm happy keeping this. And where this is a really nice light colour, I like wearing this. I like how my makeup looks when I wear this compared to how I wore the other MAC shades that were those brown shades. So this one is staying. I haven't finished it off, and I was a little bit over optimistic perhaps, I'm not really sure what the term is, but I included a lot of eyeshadows on this list, and I knew when I did that I wasn't going to use them all up because I only have two eyes. It's not something that you reapply throughout the day, so progress was going to be slow. A couple of other decluttered items, eyeshadow palettes. So my ABH, that was it, I've completely forgotten what it was. I had the Modern Renaissance and the Norvina eyeshadow palette. I decluttered shades from both palettes that I didn't like, and then I had 14 shades left, funnily enough, which was enough to just combine into one palette. So I had like a hybrid Modern Renaissance and Norvina palette, and it was my intention to pan that palette this year, but I gave up on that around halfway through the year because I just really realised that I just didn't like wearing eyeshadow or lots of eyeshadow, didn't like how a lot of the looks turned out, and just felt like, why am I doing this if I'm not enjoying the outcome? Why am I forcing myself to use makeup that I don't particularly like and I don't like the final outcome? Makeup is here to have fun with, to not put pressure on yourself and to not hate wearing. So I decluttered both of those palettes, but I did make really, really good progress on those palettes. I will link my playlist possibly of my pan that palette for this year so you can see how much progress I did make, but unfortunately didn't finish off, so I did declutter both. I also decluttered an eyeshadow stick. It was a Bobbi Brown one. I got that in a gift set from Boots last year, which I bought just for the face base. It was a lot cheaper to buy that set than it was to buy the face base individually. The eyeshadow stick was very cool toned, suited my mum a lot better than it suited me, so I decluttered that. I used up 2 out of 5 eyeliners that I wanted to use up by the end of this year. I used up a brown one by Kiko and a nude one by Peaches and Cream. I decluttered 2 eyeliners, both by Victoria Beckham, one in the shade bronze and one in the shade copper. I wear these more as all over lid shades rather than eyeliners, but again they were just too dark for me. But I have kept one, which is called Cinnamon, and I don't have too much left of it. This is part of my planning to pan for next year, so at the start of January this will be in my project pan, and it's my intention to use this one up. They are lovely eyeliners, they're very creamy, they're easy to work with, but I just don't really wear a lot of eyeliner, so I don't need to own much eyeliner. I just need a brown and that's it. So I will put this in my project pan because I go through phases of wearing eyeliner and then not touching it for several months, and I don't want that to happen with this. And then we've got some items that I used up. So I used up 3 mascaras. I knew that I was going to use this up. I only have 1 mascara open at a time. I use it for say 3 to 6 months depending on what the shelf life is, throw it away and then use another one. So I finished up an Yves Saint Laurent one, lovely brown shade, but a little bit wet to work with at the beginning. A Bobbi Brown mascara, which was in black, a great mascara. I think it was the Smoky Eye mascara, really nice definition, but I wished it came in brown. And then the Merit mascara, which again was a really nice mascara, but it only came in black. I don't understand why they don't offer that one in brown though, because I feel like a brown mascara would really fit in with their kind of ethos. And then I also finished up a brow product, which was the Merit 1980 Brow, a really lovely tinted brow gel. I really enjoyed using that. Okay, lip products. I've got a lot of lip products on this list. So I wanted to finish up all 4 Rhode lip tints that I bought. I used up 2, Toast and Ribbon, and then I decluttered Raspberry Jelly and Espresso because they were more winter shades in that they were cool toned and quite dark, so they didn't really suit me at all. I decluttered those. I had 1, 2, 3 lip liners on the list. I finished up all 3. I finished up NYX in the shade Natural, Jane Iredale in the shade Spice, and then a House of Colour Maple lip liner. I find lip liners really easy to use up, so I knew that I was going to do that. And then I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lipsticks on the list. I used up 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. 2 were the Hourglass Glossy Lip Balms in the shades Crave and Haze. These are very easy products to use up. You don't get a lot in them to begin with, so that kind of helps. But I wear these a lot. Whenever I own one of these Hourglass ones, they are like my go-to lip product. I love them a lot. I think they are brilliant lip products. I know some people don't like them. They're very polarising. You either really like them like I do, or you're just like, nah, don't get a lot of product, they're overpriced, you can find alternatives. But I used up 2 of those. I also used up Clinique Black Honey, which I didn't particularly like, but it fades very quickly and it's more of a tinted lip balm, so you can just use a lot of it. I used up 1 of my 3 House of Colour lipsticks. This was in the shade Autumn Nude, which is a really lovely pinky brown everyday colour for autumns. I decluttered 1 lipstick. It was a mini Giorgio Armani one that was in like a cool toned pink shade. My mum is cool toned, I'm pretty sure she's a summer, and that would suit her a lot better than it suited me. I do have 2 lipsticks left that I didn't finish off. This one in the shade Soft Amber, but there's not a lot of it left. This one I'm using as a cream blusher at the moment. I've got some of that on today. And then also Autumn Shimmer, which is an autumnal pink with a bit of shimmer in there. Both of these are used as cream blushes, and both of these are in my planning to pan for next year. And then 2 lip glosses, 1 by Kiko and 1 by Bobbi Brown. I finished off both of those. Like with lip liners, I find lip glosses very easy to use up. And then I also finished off a liquid lipstick by House of Colour, which I used as a liquid blusher, and it was beautiful. So in total, there were 52 items that I wanted to finish off. I finished off 35, which I'm very pleased about, and I decluttered 12. I don't like to declutter too much in terms of makeup. It is my intention to use things up rather than just declutter them and pass them on to somebody else. So I'm quite happy with the fact that I only decluttered 12. So that means that there are 5 items left to finish off on this list, and they are my NARS Sheer Glow Foundation, but that's in my project pan. MAC All That Glitters eyeshadow, but I'm in no rush now to use that one up. I'm happy keeping that one until whenever, basically. The Victoria Beckham eyeliner, that's going to be my project pan next year. And then those 2 lipsticks, so Soft Amber and Autumn Shimmer, they're also going to be my project pan next year. So very happy with the progress of those makeup items. Let's go through the other beauty items that I want to finish off. Again, I've got my list on my phone. So there were 29 beauty items, not makeup, that I want to finish off by the end of this year, and I broke it down into 3 categories. So let's start off with what I've called skin, which sounds really weird whenever I say it. Basically, I just mean skincare, face products. So there were 9 in total from that category that I wanted to finish off, and I finished off 6 of them. I finished off a Garnier Spray SPF 50, which I mentioned in my previous update video. That one only had literally like 2 or 3 uses left. It's just the fact that I just don't use that as my main SPF for the day. That's more of a topper. And where we're in winter at the moment, I wasn't using SPF toppers, but I did manage to finally finish it off. I finished off 2 Rhode pieces of skincare. Firstly was the Glazing Milk, which is like a hydrating creamy toner. That is lovely. And then yesterday, or the day before, I finished off the Rhode Glazing Fluid, which is a hydrating serum. I would use about 3-4 pumps of this, both morning and evening. It's nice, but it's not as nice as the Glazing Milk. I would buy the Glazing Milk again, but I wouldn't buy this again. It's nice, but you can definitely get other products that are very, very similar to this. I also finished off a Youth to the People exfoliant. I finished off some gel eye patches, and I also finished off a CeraVe hydrating cleanser that I used as a hand wash because I get eczema on my hands. The 3 products that I haven't finished off, firstly is a Tan-Luxe The Face tanning drops, which I have emptied into this body lotion here because that's just the way that I'm going to naturally want to use that type of product. I don't really use it as a product mixed into my face moisturiser. I know that's how I should, but I just don't tend to remind myself to do that. So I have just emptied it into here, and so when this has been finished off, I would have finished off the Tan-Luxe drops. I also haven't finished off this Isntree Face SPF stick. It has come out, it's done it again, it gets caught in the lid. So there's not much of this left. That's how much is left. This is at the moment my main SPF. Like I say, we're in winter at the moment. The UV index isn't that high, so I can get away with just using this as my usual SPF instead of like a cream or a lotion. And then I have as well some of these Abib collagen eye patches left. I don't think I've got too many. I'm not going to open it fully. Maybe about 10. I think I'm less than half left in here. And these I tend to wear twice a week. So I think this will probably be an empty for my January empties. Okay, moving into body and hands, there were 8 products in here, and this was a little bit of a mismatch between like body lotions, perfume, hand creams. So I have finished off 5 from this category. Firstly was a perfume. It was the Giorgio Armani Rouge Malachite perfume. Wouldn't get that one again. I don't feel like I really smelt that one on me, and I like to smell my perfumes on me throughout the day. I finished up my massive Tan-Luxe, what was it called? The Gradual Radiance Tanning Lotion, which has been around for 2-3 years perhaps. Beautiful tanning lotion, but it stuck around, and it was one of those products that I would go through phases of using and not using. So it's now finally used up. I also used up a cuticle oil, a hand cream and a foot cream. And what I have left, I've got the Glossier You perfume. There's probably about half of this left. I've got some jojoba oil left as well. I'm now starting to use jojoba oil over the top of my body lotion, and I also use it as cuticle oil as well. I'm hoping to be done with that in the first sort of 2 months of next year perhaps. And I also have as well pretty much a full bottle of Johnson's baby oil, but I'm not using that baby oil until I finish off the jojoba oil. And then the biggest category was hair products. There were 12 hair products that I wanted to use up, and I've only got 2 that I haven't. So the ones that I have used up, I've used up a Sam McKnight Texture Mist. It was a mini one. Wasn't particularly impressed with that. I've also finished off the JVN Blowout Styling Milk. Also wasn't really that impressed with that. It smelled nice, but don't feel like it did much. I used up the Living Proof Triple Bond Complex. Again, wasn't really impressed with that. A Way Leave-In Conditioner. It was just a mini one. That one was very easy to use up. The Way Scalp Serum. Another product I wasn't impressed with. There's a lot of hair care products that I've not been impressed with this year. Along with the Hair Syrup Buttercream in a little tub. A Clarins Detox Shampoo. So an in the shower detox shampoo rather than a dry shampoo. I love their dry shampoos. Wasn't so keen on the detox one. Also as well the OGX coconut oil. Again, wasn't too keen on that. Didn't really do much, and it's also quite heavy. Hair Syrup Rapunzel, and also the Arib Gold Lust Mask. So a lot of hair care products, and I think all of them I wouldn't repurchase. So it's good that I finished all of those up. The 2 that I haven't finished off, I haven't finished off the Inkey List Salicylic Acid Exfoliating Scalp Treatment. However, I'm in a regular routine of using that once a week, so I am using it frequently, and it will just get used up as and when it slowly reduces. And I've also got as well to finish off the Christoph Robin Cleansing Purifying Scrub, which is a scalp scrub, which I use about once a month. I don't want to use that too frequently alongside the Inkey List one because I feel like that would just be too much exfoliation for my scalp. So in total there were 29 products that I wanted to finish off. I finished off 21, and there's only 8 that I'm left to use up, but I am using pretty much all of them apart from the Johnson's baby oil. I'm using them all really frequently, so hopefully you will see those soon in one of my monthly empties videos. And it feels really good to look back on these two lists and see just how much I've used up and how little there is left to use up as well. And I guess even more importantly, the stuff that I haven't used up, they are items that I'm using regularly or I'm intending, like with the makeup, to finish off next year anyway. So that was my final roundup of those two types of videos that I've been updating you guys on frequently. So I hope you liked it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will have another one of these final wrap-up videos soon. I think my next one is going to be my Project Pan finale, and I will also in that video revisit my Planning to Pan at 24 and see if I have been able to finish off everything that I wanted to. So thank you once again, have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.